studio, Roger Clayman, Executive Director, Long Island Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO. Roger Dodger, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Chris.
You've been on the show a lot. Thank you for your support, helping us stay on the air. Long Island Fed is a big supporter, and I appreciate it. And thanks for your help in getting us on in the Big Apple. I know that you guys somehow had something to do with it.
You should be on nationwide.
Someday, buddy.
It's an injustice.
It is. It is. And, you know, I'm getting so many positive messages via feedback@ucommradio.com, on our Twitter, on our Facebook. I appreciate the kind words, but brothers and sisters, stop telling me we're doing a good job. Go out there and get other people to tune in. And when we ask you to do something like go to a rally like we're going on April 1, show up. You got to, because you can't be an activist by clicking on likes. You got to get out there, and once in a while, for, you know, no pun intended, got to go out there and flip some cars, you know?
We have to. We have to make our voices heard, particularly about the trade agreement that the country is about to enter into, another bad trade agreement.
Now, tell us about it. I mean, we've been beating it up to death, but you have an insider's perspective. Tell us about it.
It's another one just like the other ones. This one's called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It is a trade agreement between the United States and countries, most of which are much poorer economically than the United States in the Pacific Rim. It's called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and it commits us to the same kinds of arrangements that we have been subjected to with all the other trade agreements, particularly those that were adopted under fast track, where our elected officials had nothing to say about what was in those agreements.
That's crazy. And, you know, whether you agree with your congressman or woman or your senator, you at least want to give them a couple of minutes to review it, give you time to write them letters and make phone calls. And if you have to, get out there and flex some muscle and say, do not support this thing, or we're going to kick you out of the office and we're going to protest you every Sunday morning with a blow-up rat right outside of your house.
Well, I understand the perspective of the trade negotiator. Who would want to be subjecting what they have worked for years on to the thoughts of this Congress?
This Congress, the worst Congress in the history of man.
So it's impractical in one respect, but on the other hand, the trade negotiators are not listening to what the American public has been saying about the 5 previous trade agreements, that they destroy American jobs, and they have caused a wave of immigration out of the countries where they have had a devastating impact, particularly NAFTA, causing an immigration problem in this country. And they've built bigger and bigger trade deficits and don't solve any of our economic problems.
They don't. And, you know, they claim it creates jobs. I guess one sales job in a boiler room Wall Street warehouse is not really a job. I think maybe using your hands to create, I don't know, like this microphone or these earbuds that we're wearing, these cans. I mean, I want to see that done here. But this TPP through the TSA, the fast track, would send work like that to those countries, and we're not even being told if it's made in the USA where it's made. And these countries have a record of human rights violations, the murdering of innocent men and women and union organizers, and it's disgusting. And there's a target.
If you're really simplistic about this stuff, if you're really simple about it, you believe that it's a good thing for us to bring down tariff barriers and we could sell American products on the foreign markets. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Because currency has an awful lot to do with it. If we get rid of the currency manipulation going on, particularly in the countries that we're going to be dealing with in the Pacific Rim area, we would create the jobs that we're losing through our trade deficit.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in this agreement from those who leak out the information to us that addresses currency manipulation at all.
Wow. Now, that's a deep issue, and I remember seeing Rich Trumka from the AFL-CIO do a little YouTube clip on, they say this is a complicated issue. It's about jobs and the loss of it, and it's that simple, and he got off the camera and walked away. I don't think working people are dumb. I think that if you explain to us the currency thing, if we had more than an hour, we can go into it and people are like, oh, I get it.
It's not so difficult, really.
Yeah.
I mean, what goes on is they buy up foreign currencies and creating a greater demand for those foreign currencies elsewhere. In other words, buying up a lot of dollars.
Okay,
on their market. So the dollar then is more dear, more sought after. It costs more. As the dollar becomes stronger then, that makes our exports more expensive, their imports cheaper.
I see.
That's the way the whole system works, and that's why it has such a big impact on the trading relationships that go on.
So what are we doing about it, like now, mañana, next week, the week after, April 1? Do we have a plan on what we're doing?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We're enlisting the Tea Party to work with us.
What? Really?
Yeah, the Tea Party's on our side.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, lots of community people who have been with us, mostly on the progressive side of the ledger. They've been there from the very beginning, and nobody's listening to us. But the Tea Party came to a meeting that we had with Congressman Zeldin, and specifically they're addressing the issues of sovereignty.
Okay.
Because what happens is that the rules that are set up in this trading regime bring everything to a court called the Investor State Dispute Settlement Court, ISDS.
Okay.
It's staffed by attorneys. Most of the attorneys are attorneys for corporations.
Okay.
Corporations are allowed to bring cases against the specific regulatory measures within a country that deprive them of profits, which is a grave injustice from their perspective.
From their perspective, yeah.
And one for which they should be compensated, and that process should be stopped.
Okay. So this is kind of unfair. It's like a kangaroo court. It's like the guy from Thank You for Smoking. He was one of those bad guys. And everyone's got to see that movie. Being the judge, the jury, and the prosecution. And I understand that they can go after our safety and our labor standards in this country just so they can make a buck. And how they must think we're freaking stupid. they must, because they think this is going to pass, and it could if this fast track goes through.
Well, this is a natural for the Tea Party because it's a loss of American sovereignty, and they came with us to the meeting with Congressman Zeldin, who, during the course of our meeting, said that he couldn't really express an opinion on something he hadn't seen. He was open to input from everyone on this concept of fast-tracked voting. Of course, we didn't realize at the time that he had already signed a letter, along with some other Republican congressmen, to the president supporting the fast-track process.
And you can go to UCommblog.com right now and go check it out. It says, I believe the title, Brian, is Can't Have the TPP Without the TPA. And it has a picture of some child labor there. The explanation and the actual letter itself. Lee, come on, brother. You should have known better. Should have known better, but hey, that's why on April 1, yourself and with a bunch of other progressive organizations and like-minded people, as well as the Tea Party, environmentalists, Pope will be there. Pope Francis might show. Who knows? A bunch of people are going to be there to urge Lee Zeldin to do the right thing. Let me ask you a question, frank question. And I know we're going over, but, you guys can do your editing, respectively. Let me ask you a frank question. If the congressman, the newly elected rookie from Shirley, and some of his colleagues in the halls of government down in Washington said, you know what, we've had some time to think about it. Roger Dodger, AFL-CIO, Rich Trumka, all you guys, I'm going to a rally in Delaware against the congressman who's a Democrat, believe it or not, with Communications Workers of America, Local 13101. We're doing the same thing down there. What if they said, we thought about this, we're wrong, we're against not just Fast Track, we're against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Can we be friends? Will we be friends?
We judge people by what they do, not by who they are.
Or what they say.
And we keep the dialogue open. So this is not a demonstration with the attempt to embarrass the congressman. It's an attempt to arouse and awaken his consciousness about the impact of what the TPP could do to our economy even further.
Yeah.
And that's something to be concerned about, because if you look at the Republican budget that they're bringing before Congress, it's more austerity, less investment, more tax breaks for business, less of our infrastructure being addressed, more defense spending, which is off the books and is not counted against the deficit.
Yeah.
You mentioned John Oliver before. John Oliver came up with a very witty, short way of addressing how silly it is for us not to address the needs of our infrastructure.
Yeah.
And this budget doesn't do it. So we need a new way of looking at government.
Yeah.
And apparently, those who promote the TPP are not on the right track.
No.
They're not democratizing government. They're once again making it better and safer for the multinational corporations.
I tell you, it's the movie The Candidate with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis is happening right now. Let's talk about the positives, though, because we got to do the UComm News Network in just a few minutes. Tell us some positive stuff that's going on in the American labor movement right now.
We're not used to being positive. But we'll try.
Yeah. I just say you get this awesome jobs program here in Nueva York. They call it construction skills, and out on Long Island you call it what?
Opportunities Long Island.
Okay.
And this is a way of changing the conversation about economic development.
Okay.
Making the case that economic development should be about producing good jobs, and it should be about providing opportunities for people who live in the communities where this development is taking place to give them a chance at lifelong careers, at decent pay, benefits, retirement, just like construction workers who are unionized have had for years and years. But we have to change the mindset of some of the developers on Long Island who want to take the low road. And I think that what we need to do, we have a long ways to go, is we need to convince the community that we're on their side and they're on our side. They need to stand up and demand, we want the good jobs like other people have had, and we're giving them an avenue by which they can get into those jobs.
So how does it work? Like, say, a young man in Hempstead or in Harlem or in somewhere in Manhattan, there's a building project going up, and the contractor was going to give some breaks because he said, I'm going to work with the unions, I'm going to work with the community, and I want to make sure I hire some local kids to learn how to swing a hammer or go ahead and wire up a building, Local 3. How does that work then?
Well, the young men and women will come into Opportunities Long Island, and this will be an avenue for them to enter the apprenticeship programs of our construction trades. It's an opportunity they might not have had previously. And when they do that, that means they don't have to work on just Project A in Village B.
Okay.
It means that they have opened the door to a career. So maybe they'll work in their own community, but people from that community will get lifelong jobs all over the region.
Okay. How do they get in touch with you about this? Do they go to a website, or is it in its infancy? Is there a phone number? Do you got anything for us to share?
They should contact the Long Island Federation of Labor.
Okay.
Contact me.
Okay.
The Long Island Federation.
Roger
of Labor.
Clayman, LongIslandFed.org. Not hard to find. I think it's R. Clayman, LILabor.org, too. I hope you don't get any hate emails, though. I get them all the time. They're
Never.
funny. I collect them.
Never.
Roger Dodger, thanks so much for being with us. Thanks for checking in. We got your back on the TPP. You know we do. And congratulations on the new venture and getting our neighbors employed. You know, there's nothing more empowering than having a job that provides a good wage and giving you a sense of dignity and self-respect and worth. And I appreciate you caring about our community and doing that, because you could be padding your own members' pockets, but you're here, you are giving back to the community. When the ruling class says the unions don't do that, they're freaking lying to you, because you heard it here first, right here from you, Roger Clayman. Thanks, Raj. Thanks for your time,
Chris.
brother. Okay, cool.